In this video, we'll look into identity. If a column is declared as identity column, then SQL Server automatically generates a sequential number. So we can seed it with any number we want. So if you give it as a 2 as the seed, then it will start from 2 and you can increment it by any number you want. And here I given 2 comma 2, so it will starting from 2, should increment by 2. So let us create this table SQLBasics.dbo.identity table and execute it. Right click tables, refresh. Here identity table has been created, ID and first name are there. So let us insert some values into this identity table. So the values A, B, C, D. So I'm only giving the first names as A, B, C, D. I'm not entering anything for ID column. So let us insert this, execute. Now if I select star from SQL basics.dbo.identity table, then ABCD has been entered for first name and SQL Server automatically generated the numbers for the identity column. Starting from 2, it has incremented by 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. So that's how it will automatically generate the numbers. Now let us drop this table, execute. So if I right click tables and refresh, so the table has been dropped. Now let me create this identity table again without giving anything for seed and increment. So I'm just declaring it as id int identity. So if you just declare it as id int identity, then it will start from 1 and increment by 1. So execute this and right click tables, refresh. Identity table has been created, the columns ID and first name. So let us insert these values, execute, and select star from SQL basics.dbo.identity table, execute. 1, 2, 3, 4 has been created and ABCD. So I can select the identity, like select at identity, so it is showing it as 4. Because if you see this, let us execute both of these statements together. So there are 4 IDs now. So at identity, this at identity is showing the last value that has been entered for identity. And there is another way you can check DBCC CHECKIDENT of identity table. Should be identity table. So DBCC check identity table, execute. So this is saying checking identity information. Current identity value is 4 and current column value is 4. So if I go here, see, identity value is 4. So that's how you can check what is the identity value in an identity table. And let us drop this table. In this video, we'll look into sequence. Sequence, sequence is like identity column, but SQL Server automatically increments the identity column. For the sequence, user creates the sequential numbers. So let us create the sequence. Create sequence ctr as int, start with 1, increment by 1. So let us create this sequence. Execute. The sequence commands completed successfully. So let us go to the programmability, and then there is sequences here. Right click, refresh. If I expand this, CTR has been created. Now we can select next value for CTR, because we are already in SQL basics, so there's no need to give that. So if I execute it again, it will go to 2. Execute it again, it will go to 3, 4, 5. So CTR gets on incrementing by 1. Now let us reinitialize it to 1. So alter sequence here, restart with 1. If I execute this and select next value, again it will starting with 1. So let us alter sequence, restart with 1 again. Okay, now let us create a table. I'll say IDs table, and I got ID int null. Oh. So execute. If I refresh the tables, this IDs table created ID int, and says select star from IDs table. There is nothing there. Let us insert value. Insert into IDs table, select next value for CTR. So if I execute this and say select star from IDs table, I got 1. If I insert into IDs table, select next value for CTR again, and select star from IDs table, I got 2. Let's give one more try. So 3. So that's how user can create their own sequential numbers, and we can start with any number we want and increment by any number we want, and we can use that sequence any way that is required. I just shown you how to enter that sequential number into a table, but there'll be other uses for that. So that how these auto increment numbers, either identity or sequence can be used based on the requirement. Identity is automatically created by the SQL Server and sequence is created by the user. If you like the video, please subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. For notifications on upcoming videos, please click on the bell icon.